Tammy Grady has been missing since November of 2019. Her sister, Christy Ruffin, had last spoken to Tammy by phone on November 23, 2019 at 11:02 p.m. Tammy has not contacted anyone in her family since that time. She has always spoken to her sister Christy or her younger brother Horace daily. There have been no transactions on Tammy's EBT or ATM card since November 23, 2019, nor has there been any activity on Tammy's social media, which is unusual, as Facebook has been one of Tammy's primary ways of communication. Tammy was using the cell phone of a friend whom she had recently started staying with on Elby Street South in Wilson. The friend advised shortly after midnight on November 23rd, Tammy left with a male named Patrick H. We will not be releasing his last name at this time. Patrick took her to a local hotel, the Heart of Wilson, located at 501 Nash Street West. Patrick H. has been in and out of the court system for many years and currently has multiple pending court cases, mostly for habitual larceny. His past includes firearm, drugs, larceny, and breaking and entering charges. Patrick is the last person she was seen leaving with. On November 24, 2019, Tammy was seen leaving the Heart of Wilson motel. She was seen getting in a cab. This picture shows the last thing that Tammy was seen wearing. The cab driver, who has recently passed away, when questioned, could not remember where he dropped Tammy off. Eventually, Tammy made it to a house in Kinley, North Carolina. She went there with 5 to 6 other people. That's where Tammy was really last seen. Because this is the worst kept secret in Wilson, there have been many, many stories that, truthfully, could be true. There were 5 to 6 people at the house in Kinley the night Tammy was there. One for certain was a girl named Ashley. Ashley knows what happened to Tammy. The other is the homeowner, Bob Chapman, who has an array of charges that are still pending. There was a revelation that the vehicle that Tammy's body was transported in before being dumped at an unknown location was recovered at a recycling facility to be crushed. There was nothing wrong with the vehicle. However, law enforcement did step in and retrieve the vehicle before it was crushed. Here's the episode of the K-Files on WHIG TV, where Sandra and Lindell explain more about this case.
Yeah.
So, Tammy, November 24th, 2019.
It's
so
the Wilson case.
Yeah, 2 years ago. She was reported missing in Wilson. Tammy was last seen getting into a taxi at the Heart of Wilson Hotel.
Yes, remember that? We've talked about this many times.
Yeah, in downtown. The cabbie admitted to picking her up, but he claimed that he didn't remember where he dropped her off at, right? Which was always highly suspicious to me, and yeah, very unbelievable. Well, I went by the cab company, the ironically named Safety Cab, and they said that they didn't have any records of that transaction, right? They don't keep any records apparently of who's picking up who and who's dropping them off where, which I found questionable as well. Mm-hmm. There we go. That's in downtown Wilson as well. Mm-hmm. I went by there, talked to those nice folks. They didn't have any records for me. I assume they didn't have any records for detectives when they went there before me. I wanted to talk to the cabbie, was trying to track down the cabbie to talk to him, but that cab driver is dead now. Right?
Yeah, he deceased not too long ago.
The family believed that Tammy's cousin, 33-year-old Christopher Alex Grady, of Bailey, had something to do with Tammy's disappearance.
Wow.
They believed that
cousin.
Right. They believed that he put Tammy in contact with the people who eventually killed her. Right. And there's been some recent information that maybe he was involved in the cleanup and whatnot. Right. The cousin's not talking now because he was in the Wilson County Jail on some drug charges, and they found him hanged in his cell.
Right.
Right. So he's not going to be telling anything about it. Okay. So the talk is that Tammy, she was staying at a friend's house. She went down to the Heart of Wilson Hotel for the night. The next morning or whatever time that was, she gets in the cab. The cabbie takes her to a house down on the Wayne County line. And things got out of hand. And, exactly what transpired at that moment, only about 5 or 6 people know for sure, and that list is dwindling. Right? I mean,
But that's
as time
important
goes
what you
by.
just said.
Right.
5 or 6 people. So where are you?
Right.
Where are you? Why
Well,
aren't you calling the number?
we're gonna talk about some of them here in a minute. So the Tammy's there. Things get out of hand. Tammy's dead. Right.
Right.
Tammy's sister starts asking, where's my sister at?
Who has been on this program?
She has, and we've got something with her coming up in a second, and she has there she is standing in front of Heart of Wilson. She filmed a video for this show last year.
Yes.
And her name's Christy Ruffin. She's asking, hey, where's my sister at? She stayed in contact with Tammy almost every day.
I remember
Right
saying
now,
that.
Tammy was kind of in the life. She was doing things, and Christy, she's got a family and everything, but they stayed in touch. And no more than a day or two went by without them communicating either over the phone or on Facebook. That's how Tammy liked to communicate most, on Facebook. And also, is the most worrisome part of the whole thing is that she hasn't been on Facebook since the day that she disappeared. Right? Her ATM card has there's money in her bank that hasn't been touched since the day she disappeared. So for anybody that says, oh, well, she just ran off, right? No. She didn't.
Right.
Because people don't leave money in their bank account.
No, they don't.
So something terrible happened to Tammy, right? And I mean, at this point, 2 years in, her disappearance, I mean, what we're really talking about is her death. And it's just a matter of, what happened to her after that night. Because, I mean, she's been gone. So Christy has tried. She has kept this thing alive. She does vigils. She's had probably more vigils for her sister than some people have had for people that have been missing for 30 or 40 years. Christy's been really trying to find out, what happened to my sister, where she's at. So she's going, talking to the police. She's been on the show more than once. I think 3 times now she's been on the show. She went down to this location down in on the Wayne County line, trying to find out what's going on. But we're going to talk about the suspects in that case, because it is the worst kept secret in Wilson who made Tammy disappear, right? And so we're going to talk about them. I sat down with Chrissy yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I sat down with her and had a video interview with her yesterday, and I want to show that to people now, and then when we come back from commercial, we're going to talk about the suspects in this case.
Sounds good. Okay, we'll be right back with you right after this with more of the K-Files.
The third Thanksgiving that you've been without Tammy, right? What is that like for your family?
It's hard. It's really hard. This time of the year is just the hardest of all the rest of the year. Every day is hard because every day is the exact same, but the holidays, we have new family members, new babies in the family, and we're trying to carry on and just still trying to continue the holiday tradition and stuff, but it's just, you just feel it incomplete. It's just not the same.
When I drove into town, I come by the Heart of Wilson hotel. I imagine you probably pass that way a lot. You live here in Wilson.
I do.
I mean, what are your feelings every time that you see that?
Oh, my heart drops to my stomach. I could see her. I could see her walking, just in my mind. I do like to ride past there, look sometimes. I miss my sister a lot.
You're hoping that you're going to see her, but you know that you're not, right?
Anything that makes me feel close to her, I like to do it.
Y'all were really close.
Mm-hmm. And just knowing that, that was one of the last places that she had laid her head that night, before she went missing, that's why I say it makes me feel close to her, because I knew she was there, But yes, that was my best friend. She was my only sister, but she was my best friend, and I miss her a lot.
In Tammy Grady's case, right, the rumors that she goes to a house in the Kinley area, she's dropped off there, right, to entertain, and she ends up dead. Well, just like in the Jonathan Wilson case, this murder investigation has joined in or kicked off a drug investigation of that house, right?
Right.
And the story always was that Tammy was brought to a rich man's house and then was subsequently murdered there, right? Well,
But why would they want to get rid of her?
well, I mean, because when you're running a huge drug operation out of your house, and someone dies there, you don't want all that attention. So her life was so valueless to them that they decided just to get rid of her. And the stories that I've heard from many different people, including a person who was in jail with Tammy's cousin prior to him getting hanged, is that they dumped her body in a wooded area near the house. But then when Christy began asking all of her questions, they got nervous, so they went back and got the body, and
Wow.
I'm trying to be as they dismembered it and then disposed of it elsewhere, right? So that's what and that's probably why her cousin checked out, because after a while that would begin to weigh on you, I would think. All right, so they've got these drug investigation going on, right?
Right.
Well, the owner of that house, who is undoubtedly the main suspect in Tammy's disappearance, the police know it. They won't confirm it officially, but I mean, I've talked to him off the record, and of course, Christy and her family have talked to him. Everybody's talked to him. It is the worst kept secret in Wilson who this suspect is.
Wow.
So he was arrested in November of last year on multiple drug counts, multiple firearms counts.
Okay.
Then he was arrested a few months ago again on charges, several gun charges and drug charges. Like you asked me why they got rid of her when she died. The house had so many guns in it. This guy was charged with so many gun possessions. I mean, they were hiding. I mean, it was like open a book and there's a gun in it, right? Yeah. They hid guns everywhere in the house. I mean, there were guns everywhere. So this man is bonded out of jail now. He's waiting. He's got so many counts you couldn't possibly count them all. I mean, I quit counting after a while. He's got so many counts pending, waiting for court. He's bonded out, but his drug money, the rumor of the rich man, his drug money's all gone now, and he's lost a lot of that power that he seemed to have had at the time, right? So the reason I told you the Jonathan Wilson story is that when this man is sent to prison, which he undoubtedly will be, given all of those charges and all that, I hope that prosecutors don't repeat the same mistake that they
Right,
did
exactly.
in the Jonathan Wilson case and think they've got all the time in the world to build a case, because they don't.
No.
Right. All right. So the gentleman that we've been talking about is here's Bob Chapman.
Oh, wow.
He owned the house that
Oh, my goodness.
he's 79 years old. He owned the house that Tammy died in. He is
he
has a
mean.
long criminal record. He's now charged by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office with trafficking methamphetamine, multiple counts. Multiple counts of possession of a firearm by a felon, and some other drug-related charges like maintaining a dwelling for drugs. He's got enough gun charges to go federal. Every one of those is 3 counts, because on a warrant you can only have 3 counts on a warrant.
Right.
So every one of those is 3 counts of
Good
something.
Lord.
I give up.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I give up counting. This guy is definitely.
If he's 79 years old, you're right.
Yeah,
they don't have long.
And there's 2 other guys besides Tammy's cousin, who's dead now. There's 2 other guys that were young guys that were there and probably involved. To what extent, and I don't know. I'm hoping that that somebody, this small circle of people, somebody realizes that it's in their best interest to somebody's going to get 5 years and someone's going to get life.
Right.
So somebody needs to start talking.
Absolutely.
And so just to review, Bob Chapman is the main
Put his
suspect.
picture up again, Britt.
He is the main suspect.
Robert Wayne Chapman.
He is the main suspect. Now, I'm not saying, for anybody out there that's wondering about this man's rights, I'm not saying that he killed Tammy.
Right.
Right? That's for a court to decide.
That's right.
But what I am saying is that he is the main suspect in the case.
Right, exactly.
There's no doubt about that. He is the main suspect in that case. So, what's funny about main suspects is sometimes police name those main suspects, sometimes they don't.
Right.
For whatever reason. But I think it's time that the worst kept secret in Wilson
I think so.
come to light.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that it's time for somebody to speak up and give Tammy, Grady's family, some peace.
Yes.
If you have any information on the disappearance of Tammy, call Team Cold Case 252-406-6736. There is a reward up to $15,000 for the arrest of the person or persons responsible for the disappearance of Tammy.